Hello everybody, welcome to the Breakdown Podcast. This has been an idea I've been playing with for some time now to do more of a podcast style, whether it be in a live streamed on YouTube thing or a pre-record like this, but I decided let's sit down and do a test podcast. I have a lot of ideas. One of them includes getting a co-host to join me, and I've kind of got a few people in mind. I'm working out seeing what availability is and if we could ever make anything work with a regular co-host. I think it'd be kind of fun to do a weekly podcast, break down some of the biggest news, not just in tech, but in all kinds of different topics and issues, and just talk about life. I really have a few things I want to work on. One is I'm looking at setting up a Google email address and Google Voice phone number where you would be able to email in questions, send a voice recording, and more that we could answer here on the podcast. Also looking into doing more regular live streams, though to do that I do need to run an Ethernet cable into the current studio because the internet in here is kind of weak. It's not very good, especially for uploading. It's way at the corner of my home, Wi-Fi is kind of bad. I'm going to be running an Ethernet cable clear across the house through the drop ceilings in the basement to make that work. Once we have that set up, hopefully we can do some of these podcasts live. I would love to kind of break that down. But I would love to hear from you on what you would like to hear from a podcast. Or would you listen? Of course, I think YouTube would be a big way, but also putting it on a traditional download from a podcast service so you can get it from whatever podcasting app you enjoy. So let me know what you think of that. And keep in mind, this is a test episode. I didn't even want to call it a pilot episode yet because I'm just kind of kicking around some ideas, playing around with it, and seeing how it kind of works. And as with all things with this, with every YouTube thing, website thing I've ever done, you kind of do it for a while and you keep changing it, keep trying to make it better. And a big part of that is taking feedback from you, the audience, so I can find out what you want. So feel free to leave me a comment. Let me know what you think of the podcast. I'll love to hear from you. Well, before we get into the big news of the week, kind of a fun thing that happened to me, maybe not so fun, but I went to the dentist this week. Yeah, we moved from Texas to Michigan last year, ended up having to find a new dentist. We found one that I've used in the past. Ends up that they didn't take our insurance, and it was a couple $100 for us to go there. And I'm like, I'm not paying for insurance plus a few $100s when I can switch dentists and get it for free, at least when it comes to free cleanings. So we switched to a brand new dentist, and it was a really bad experience. I'm trying not to become that old grumpy guy, so I really want to know, am I becoming an old grumpy guy by complaining about this, or was this a very reasonable response to what happened? So I got there a little bit under 10 minutes before my appointment, ended up sitting there for about 30 minutes. So 20 minutes after my appointment, I get taken back and they're very apologizing to me and say, hey, the client before you had more work than we expected, but your tech is finishing up with them. I'll do your x-rays and we'll go from there. Well, when I got there and I got through the x-rays and sat down, they said, hey, unfortunately, we had the client before you ran long. The client after you is here on time for their appointment. We can't clean your teeth. You're going to have to reschedule. And that very much left me feeling like, okay, the client before me was more important because they ran late with that client. The client after me was more important because, hey, they're here on time. I was on time. I was early. But I'm the one that's going to have to reschedule. Now, in my mind, a little bit, it's like, okay, so you're 20 minutes late with, running late with me. Can you get it done 10 minutes early so that you clean my teeth and the person behind me, 10, 15 minutes late, and then get them done a little fast, and then you just kind of make it up throughout the day. But to just say, hey, you need to reschedule your cleaning really did leave me feeling like I wasn't that important. I was on time. Okay, so the person before me had a bigger tooth issue than you thought, took longer. Why does that mean I have to reschedule my whole appointment, especially when I had already moved 2 meetings in order to be there at that dentist appointment? I don't know. Leave me a comment. Am I crazy? Am I becoming a grumpy old guy? I don't know. To me, I definitely felt like I was being told that I'm not as important as the other people out there. So let me know what you think. I'd love to hear from you. All right, let's kind of dive into the news of the day. Starting off with a story that got a lot of attention on Twitter, I thought was very interesting. If you live in an area where you can still dial 7 digits for a local number, meaning you're not including your area code when you call a local number, for many Americans, that's about to go away. On October 24th, as part of an FCC order, you will now need to start including the area code. Now, this is being done because they're rolling out a suicide prevention phone number. That'll be one of those little 3-digit codes that will be a national number where you could call it and get suicide prevention help, which I think is great. And this will also help future-proof additional short 3-digit codes to call for help on different issues or different services in different parts of the country. Now, apparently, in many parts of the country, this is already the case. I'll be honest, we've lived the last 10 years out of state, but I never changed my phone number. So I was always having to put the area code in anyways to call local because I had a different area code phone number than where I was living. But now, here in my hometown and in many states and most of the country, you will now need to enter the area code if you want to call locally. Now, the suicide prevention phone number won't actually go live until 2020, but they want to turn it 2022 to be clear, but they want to turn off this ability to call locally with only 7 digits so they can start testing it, preparing it for a national rollout. Kind of an interesting look there. Let me know if that affects you at all. And if you want to see if your area is affected by this change, I have a link for it in the show notes down below. All right, Facebook is rolling out a brand new social media called ReEntry. Now, this is a social media service that will be helping people prepare for life after prison with community support. So the idea here actually is pretty cool. It's an idea that, hey, there's been people in prison, sometimes for a very long time. The world changes. Even if you're in prison for a few months, the world will change. And it can be very hard to get back out there. Facebook's hoping that a social media service called ReEntry will help people prepare for life after prison with community support. And I think that's great. You know, the ability to offer services and more online, maybe in more of an anonymous way. You know, not everybody wants to say, hey, I just got out of prison, I need help. But maybe people would be more willing to do this if they can feel like they can do it online. And it's a whole service with other people in a position where you are, other people who are there to help you with that. It'll be interesting. Facebook reportedly accidentally launched this. They didn't mean to. It popped up as an alert on Instagram for people to check it out. Facebook responded, said, we've been exploring different ways to help close gaps faced by marginalized communities across our apps, which opens up the question if ReEntry is just one of these. Maybe, you know, this isn't where they're going to stop. Maybe they're going to focus on other small micro social media communities for people who are in different situations that may be looking for help with it. Not just about people who are leaving prison and trying to reassimilate into the community. It could be kind of an interesting service. We'll have to wait and see. This was only intended to be an internal test, and we took down the notice as soon as we learned it briefly ran externally, Facebook said about this service appearing online. I love it. For all the bad parts of Facebook or the trouble Facebook offers, there is a lot of benefit here. Now, as a military family who moved all over the country, it was great when you move into a new town and there's a Facebook group that you can learn about the town, ask questions. Hey, I need to get a new dentist. We're a good dentist. Hey, I need to find a new daycare. I need to find a new playground to take my kid to. What would you recommend? It was actually really helpful. And a lot of military communities do that, and I loved it because when you move into a town, you don't know anybody. You know, who's a good plumber? Where's a good place to take my car to get work done? Where is a good daycare, playground to take my children to? So offering those kind of services to especially people leaving prison and trying to reassimilate, I think is awesome. I hope it's successful, and I, wish them all the luck with it. Let me know. Would you be interested in something like that, even if you're not affected? But if you, let's say if you were, let me know. All right, the ice cream liquor. Now this seems like forever ago, but it was only in 2019 when a viral video popped up of somebody in a Walmart licking a thing of ice cream. So you opened up this container of ice cream, licked it, resealed it, and put it on the shelf back in the Walmart store and left it there. Now this led to mass hysteria as people wondered if they ended up with the ice cream this person had licked and put on the shelf. Walmart quickly the same day identified what store it was and destroyed all the ice cream of that type in the store, which led to a lot of losses for Walmart. The person was quickly caught, and even though they did prove that they had receipts showing they bought that ice cream, that they did it as a stunt, put it back, recorded the video, and then went back, got the container, and purchased it, they were still sentenced to 30 days in jail and 180 days on probation because They say it caused great panic. It caused great financial harm, both to the brand of ice cream it was and to Walmart, who had to destroy that brand. But at first, we didn't know what Walmart was. And stores across the country, people were freaking out about this brand. Was it in this store, for example? Well, that person's now been sentenced to 6 months in jail for breaking probation. So probation did happen. Now, there was another big one. I think it was of a female who did the same thing, but it ended up turning out that that person was a minor, so we never really learned exactly what that person ended up facing. So we'll have to wait and see if anything ever comes out about that. But it was impressive how quickly they ended up tracking down this person. Goes to show you, you can't do anything online without being traced back to you. All right, one of the biggest possible non-natural disasters that will probably hit the world's economy this year is the Suez Canal being blocked. Yes, one of the largest cargo ships in the world somehow ended up turned sideways, blocking the Suez Canal, preventing about 10% of the world's cargo from moving forward. This has already resulted in billions of dollars in damages as ships stack up in the areas waiting to go through the channel. It's one of the busiest waterways in the world, as it moves about 10% of the world's cargo every day, if I read that correctly. This is a massive issue. Now, the U.S. has announced that the Egyptian government has asked for or accepted, I believe, their offer of help, and they're sending a team there to help break this apart. And they're going to try to pump water out of the ship. A lot of ships have ballast tanks that help keep the ship level. As cargo goes on, you bring water into certain areas to make sure the ship is nice and stable. But that could still take some time to get the ship broken free. Now, the one thing I thought was interesting is okay, we want to lighten the ship to kind of raise it up a little bit. We're dredging out underneath it. We got all these cargo containers on there. My first reaction was, I know maybe it's because, military experience, my wife being an Army officer, we got these massive, absolutely massive cargo helicopters that are very strong, can really lift a lot of weight. How come we're not lifting these cargo containers off the ship and dumping them on the side of the canal? It's hey, we can figure out how to truck these somewhere later, right? We can do something with these later. Let's lighten the load on this ship a little bit. Let's dump all these containers on the side of the Suez Canal here. It looks like a big sandy beach area right there, and move forward. But apparently, for some reason, they haven't done it. Who knows what's in there? It could be extremely heavy cargo containers up there. Though I would be surprised if they put the extremely heavy ones on top of the ship, but there's still probably tens of thousands of tons of cargo just sitting on top of the ship there that they can pull out. It'll be interesting to see what happens, how long this waits here. But this is part of a bigger problem. Shipping containers have been a massive issue recently, as it's been reported that many of these containers are stacking up in Western ports and aren't being shipped back to areas in China, for example, where it needs them. It used to be they come here, we load them up with goods going back or different things or ships going back. But because of the changes in the world's economy, we're not shipping crates back the way we typically did. And this means that goods in China are actually struggling to get to the US and other Western countries because we don't have enough cargo containers. It's kind of an interesting issue there. We'll have to wait and see how this plays out. But the Suez Canal blockade there is probably not helping anything. Now, I've seen some fear-mongering stories that talk about toilet paper shortages could be caused by this. Maybe, but probably nothing like what happened last year. Also, partly because a lot of people have huge stocks of toilet paper now. I saw Costco and many stores have dropped any limits on toilet paper and other such consumables, but probably a bigger issue is things like Peloton bikes, or I don't know if they're made there, but exercise equipment, durable goods, large goods that are manufactured overseas. I don't know if Pelotons are. I just threw out a name. And then shipped to the United States. Those are companies that could really struggle with this. We'll have to wait and see. All right, quick thing in today's history. On this date when I'm recording this, March 27th, 2021, this was the date where the largest ever recorded earthquake in North America hit Alaska with a 9.2 earthquake causing 131 deaths as 600 miles of fault ruptured at once, moving up to 60 feet. Yes, so a piece of ground in front of your home can suddenly end up 60 feet further down your road if you were standing next to where this fault happened. It is a massive disaster that has not been repeated in North America, and honestly, it's one of the biggest earthquakes ever to hit the world in recorded time. Kind of interesting to see. We'll have to wait and see how that plays out. Also, if you're looking for some free stuff, there is a free donut every Wednesday from Dunkin' Donuts if you sign up through their rewards app. Dunkin' really wants you to sign up through their reward app. And remember, it's not Dunkin' Donuts anymore, it's just Dunkin', because they really are trying to push the fact that they do coffee and other things. But you can get a free donut every Wednesday now through April 21st if you get it through the rewards app. All right, well, one thing that does really point out the success that rewards apps have, they really do make people loyal. I know my local gas station I've become a lot more loyal to because I get points. I'll skip over a gas station where I'm not getting points and go to one to get points. Gas is the same price. And now many other companies are doing it. Grocery stores were some of the first to really get into this. Now McDonald's and other places are also rolling out theirs. All right, a few interesting new products out there. I want to know, would you buy these? Pop-Tarts are coming out with 3 new flavors: peach cobbler, lemon cream pie, and banana cream pie. They're dessert Pop-Tarts that they hope will bring in more customers, but I'd love to know, are you a Pop-Tart person? I was when I was younger. I was a strawberry kind of person. But today, do you still eat them? I can't remember the last time I had a Pop-Tart, but my daughter loves the double chocolate ones. And here's something I kind of wish I could get my hands on just to say I tried it. But Pepsi is rolling out Peep flavored Pepsi just in time for Easter. Yes, you will, if you're lucky, be able to drink a Pepsi that's been flavored to a Peep flavoring. There's multiple different flavors in it, and there's 7.5 ounce cans. The tough thing is they're not being sold in stores. You have to enter to win one of 3,000 cases that are being made and given away. Pepsi, I would probably go on your website and pay for shipping to get this. So let's make this work. Come on. I want some Pepsi Peep flavoring on there. Now, it says 3,000. I saw some websites out there got review units, basically. Taste kits, I guess we should call them, to promote what they're doing. Pepsi, I think, cleverly is trying to grow their social media and different lists and stuff to use this as a way to try to do it. But I don't know if that 3,000 cases is 3,000 being given away, or if it was 3,000 were made, some were given away to people through website deals and more. Others were given them to taste tests, and then the remainder would be given away through this giveaway. So I'm not 100% sure how that worked. All right, so as we kind of come to the tail end of this pandemic, I got a question for you. What things from the pandemic do you wish that would stay around? I know this seems weird, but there are a few things that I've kind of enjoyed. One of the things is the big dividers between booths and restaurants. A, I find it a little bit quieter. B, I feel like I'm a little bit more private. When I'm taking my wife out to dinner, I feel like we're a little bit more private with these dividers between the booths now than just seeing everybody in the restaurant. The downside to it is for wait staff is they definitely struggle more to be able to see when I need my drink refilled and when we're ready to order. But as we get closer, and some states are already opening back up, what do you want to get back to? But what would you also like to see stay? I'm definitely looking forward to just getting back to normal life, getting my daughter be able to do more things. We were looking for a hotel to take her to a pool to go swimming for spring break because we're not able to travel this year for spring break. That was very difficult. Here in Michigan, you can get into a hotel, you have to get a hotel room, and then you have to say, well, you can sign up for a 30 to maybe an hour block to go swimming. Only one hotel room at a time can use the pool. And I was like, man, that doesn't seem very enticing. I think that would actually cause more issues for my daughter. She'll get in there, spend 30 minutes in the pool, and then we got to get out so the next hotel room can get in. That didn't seem very favorable to her. And most hotels around here are still closed due to pandemic protocols. And that probably means the ones that are open are going to be booked up, very busy. So, I kind of look forward for my daughter to get back to normal. It's been very tough moving to a new area. I kind of feel bad for her that she hasn't really been able to make friends like I would like her to because, she can't go to many of the things where she would normally run into make friends. Youth groups aren't happening. Schools are very limited. And the idea of just being like, hey, we're new here, come on over for a barbecue, is just not happening right now. So I feel for my daughter. I really want her to get back to more of a normal childhood. So hopefully we can do that very quickly for her. But, the ability to have some privacy as I eat my food, I kind of like that. So leave me a comment. Let me know what you think of all this. One other thing I hope continues, they actually clean menus now. Now, who here remembers sitting at a restaurant getting a menu and it's kind of sticky and grimy and grungy? It's like, man, when was the last time this menu was cleaned? Now it seems like everybody cleans their menus, or they use single-use menus or contactless menus. Kind of like that. Hey, restaurants, keep cleaning up your menus every time. All right, so that is the podcast test. I don't know if this was any good. I don't know what you think. Do you think it would be fun to have a co-host here? I don't know. You leave me a comment. Let me know what you think of this format. And this is also kind of the format I'm thinking about doing a live show with, and taking questions, allowing email questions about news stories of the day, allow maybe some voicemail recordings we can play here. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think of this and what you would like to see in a podcast like this. Your feedback helps me make this all work. I really do appreciate it. All right, I'll be back with another podcast maybe next week. Until then, take care, everybody. Be safe. Thank you for your support. I really do appreciate it. And if you're new here, hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up. I do appreciate it. Talk to you all real soon.